Welcome back, everyone. This is video 3 in the trilogy, the final one, the one you've been waiting for. We're going to put this AC box back together. So, put on your PJs, pop some popcorn, bang in sick to work, and leave your girlfriend. We're going to sit down and we're going to get this done today. Anyway, so let's dive right in. I went ahead and test fit this piece on the back. It is basically just sitting on there. There's nothing holding it together. I haven't bolted anything because I want to look to see how I'm going to seal this and make sure that everything goes back together correctly. So inside this overlap right here, because this sits out here and then the part of the housing goes in behind it, there's a groove down in there. And when I took it apart, that whole groove was filled with butyl. So I'm going to put some back in there so that's sealed up tight, factory fresh, just the way it was. And then I think, let me turn this around so you can take a look at it. If you look down inside, here, let me hold it like this. This is ought to be good. So down inside, this is the seal, or the crack where the two parts come together. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run some butyl right along that seam and seal off any areas just to make sure that they stay nice and clean and tight, airtight, because that's what I want. And you can see my hand moving. Look at that, this is like a huge, gigantic gap right here. So either I'm going to fill that in with butyl, or the other thing I could do is I've still got some foam left over from the kit, and I think these two would be the perfect size. Well, I could use one of these and I think just seal that one area off, because what I want to do is make this case as far as like air movement from the blower through the evaporator and the heater core and into the vehicle. I want to make this case as airtight as possible so I don't lose any air out of any different like crack, crevice. I just want to make sure that every bit of air that blower motor is giving me is coming into the vehicle. So we're going to take care of that, and move it around here so you can see. This is my favorite. They supply this one little foam thing that's got a split down the center. And I was going to make something if it didn't have it, but it's in the kit. So where the rod comes out, so you'll have a rod that comes out through here and clips into here. So when you're inside the vehicle and you're hitting your hot to cold, there's a cable that comes out here and attaches here. And that cable moves this, in turn moves the rod, and in turn moves the door. So this little seal right here, the rod will come through it, and basically this will seal off any air escape outside the case to make sure that it goes through the ductwork that it's supposed to. So that is the plan of attack. So I'm going to get this back off because it's basically just kind of, it presses on really tight. I mean, I mean, you can't even shake it off. It's on there pretty good, and there's nothing holding it except the fact that it wedges down in here so well. And it wedges onto the back of the case here. So let me take this apart, and then we'll start laying down our butyl, and then I'm going to take I might take some of that fuzzy and just put a strip right here to seal that one area off, and then we'll come back and we'll start bolting stuff together. And I got to remember when I took this apart, the blend door was already in here because that rod has to go through here. So if I put this on and then try to get this in, the angle is weird, and then that rod's not going to want to go through here without me forcing it, so I don't want to do that. So the blend, that whole box will have to go in, just sit in there, so that'll be where it needs to be for this. So let's get cracking. Let me get this loose. Okay, so we got that back apart, and this is the piece I'm talking about. There's a gap up here. I've already put some foam on that, and on the back side here, I took a little bit of the foam and stuck it here too. There are some air gaps there, so I just want to seal that stuff up. So let me sit this down where you can take a look at this. I took a Sharpie and I marked the two spots. They're both right here. So it's this area right here where that air gap is at. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm just going to use some of this foam. So I can cut a piece that'll fit right here, and then access will probably be just enough to swing around to this, and it'll be perfect. So I'm going to grab my scissors back here, and we'll mark that right about there. So that is that piece, and then I think this one will come around, take about that much. trim this until I'm happy with it. Perfect. So it's going to be my two little pieces that I'm going to use, and then we'll stick those in, and then we can put these two pieces together, and then the rest will be butyl on the inside, and then I need to put some butyl on the piece that goes around this door, and then we're ready to go. These little foamy pieces do not want to peel off from these things. Holy cow, these things are difficult to get unstuck. But anyway, it's neither here nor there now. All right, so that one is right in where I want it to be. And then take our other one and start here in this corner. And bend it around and stick it. Doesn't need to be perfect. Factory had nothing, so we're already ahead of the game just putting this here. With the case back up here, we can start sealing up this box. So I went out to Napa and I got some glass setting butyl tape. This is part number 4196. It's 1 by 3/8 in a 15-foot roll. Honestly, I think the 1 by 5/16 would probably work better, which is the 4195. They didn't have any. This is what they have in stock. So I'm going to try to make this work, but you cannot be so impatient like myself. You'd probably be better off waiting and getting a little bit thinner stuff. So what I'm going to do, grab this, take out quite a bit on a roll here, look and see. What do I need to fill that? Okay. I'm going to bring some more up around this corner. This stuff is pretty gooey. Okay. That is what I need. And I'm wondering if I can take this stuff. That might work. It looks like, yeah, I think it's going to work. Okay, so that's to the point where we need it. Let's see how this stuff responds to scissors. All right, that's good. So we'll take what's left here, sit this off to the side, and I'm going to pull this off of its backing, and then we'll start in this corner here, and we'll just start working it into that crevice. And the whole point of this is for it to mash down these two pieces. Hopefully this isn't going to be too much. If it's too much, I'll have to either knead this stuff out, like roll it out till it's thinner, but I'm hoping if this wedges down in there nicely, holds that in place. All right, let's go see if this is going to work. Let me grab the other piece. So if you remember, I told you I got to put this hot cold door back in, and there's a groove right here that fits right along with this groove on this side, so that fits in just like that, nice and tight. All right, so I'll sit this off here because you can see this line right here. That was where the caulk was at when this went in. So what I'm going to do, and see if this works, I'm going to take a little bit of this, and I'm going to, here's my scissors, and what I'm going to do is peel this off, and I'm actually going to try to roll this out a little thinner. Like I said, if you get the thinner stuff, it's not going to be an issue. But this stuff is a little thicker than what I really, really wanted, but it's very malleable. So we're just going to roll this out to a nice, even rope. And I think that will lay down right in here. Butt it right up against this corner. And right over to the other side, right where those two intersect. That'll be perfect. Then I'm going to take what's left here and then run my strip down this way. And it's just rolling this stuff out, thinning it out a little bit. Then I'll press my door down in, and then we'll get the back side of this case on. Okay, so we'll just join this up with that. Look at that, it's perfect. Okay, so that's my line. And we'll go ahead and nestle this bad boy right down in here. Press this down. Squish it till it's flat. Hopefully this is sitting where I can line up the bolt holes. Put this in. But now that bottom part is in place so I can get my door into the back part of this housing. Now the interesting thing is going to be this butyl over here, because I'm not sure if this is just going to be too fat. So you may see me put this on, and then if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to take it back out, and I'll have to do the same thing. I'll just pull this back out, probably cut it in half, and then roll it out thinner and put the bead back in. But let's see how it goes. All right. Get my rod in there. That's good. Work this piece up here. Too thick, so we go with the same butyl. I just took it out and basically broke it into two halves, and then this half will be enough to fill in this space now. It won't be quite so thick. It was like it was close. It was pretty close, but it was just couldn't get it that last little bit to line the bolt holes up. So we're going to go back with this. This will fit down into that crevice very nicely, and I think that'll fix our fitment issue that we were having. I'll just leave that extra hanging out here until that goes down in there. Like that clunking noise? That's great, isn't it? Okay, round two. Let's try this again. So we'll get that rod in there, and we'll line this up. Get that down into that crevice. Push that down in there. Line that up down there. Out here. This thing's kind of finicky toward the back here, but I think once we get this first one lined up and down, then the rest of these are just going to fall right into place. Yes. Along. Well, it's a tight fit, but got my two back screws in. I got these started, and that looks like it's going to go nice. All right, so those are in. Look at that. Okay, one last screw right here. That. Okay, so now we have got our case together. So let's put our little sticky sponge over top of this air inlet where the door is at. And then if you remember, we marked exactly where this door was. Might have to fiddle with that a little bit because there's not a lot of room for this thing to stick. Maybe I got it. So hopefully you can see this. This is the baffle that came out, and I've just given it a good gloss black coat. And if you can see, there is 2 spots for screws on this, but there was only a screw at the top where this was bolted in like that. So I actually found a screw I think is going to work for the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and put both of them in because I think that's probably the way the factory wanted it. And I took a piece of butyl and I just rolled it out to a nice little thin bead, and I'm just going to, in my attempt to seal this thing up perfectly so we don't have any air bleed anywhere, I'm going to put this right up to this seal and just put it right behind this joint where the air baffle is going to go. And I'm hoping that by doing so, it helps to seal up this side. If there's any air bleed, that's going to get that. And then now, let's do the one that it came with, the top one. Let's put that in and see if we can't get that started. Where it's supposed to go. Alright, this bottom one I just found a Phillips screw, I think had the same type of thread. So let's see if I can get this bottom one run in where it's supposed to be. Ah, very nice. Make sure that's good and tight. And then you've got that one screw that's over here in this corner. I've already got that started. So let's see if I can get, it's just got an awkward angle. This flex really helps get to that. And there is the air blend door in. Let's run it through the motion real quick to make sure that baffle doesn't interfere. Nice, right where it's supposed to be. Now let's move on to our blower case that goes on the inside. So that sits down like so, right in there. And there is a groove that follows the whole way around, and that is where I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to roll out some butyl and then just put a seal right down on that, and then right up this corner all the way to the top, and just make sure that that is sealed good and tight. That's a nice bead the whole way around, one side to the other. Now let's go ahead and get this in place. Hopefully I can get this down without messing this butyl up on the way down. I want to keep that thing. There we go. Yes, it's sticking in place. Gotta go right down where it needs to be. Pop that edge down. Very good. So you've got one bolt that comes in from the back. I'm going to start that one now because I think that's going to be the most difficult one. Just lining this one up. I think if I can get this one in place, the rest of it will just, there it is. The rest of this will just fall right in. So the one up in this corner doesn't look all too difficult. This is right there. And the one down here on the floor. Hopefully that's in the right spot. I don't need to Ah. Okay, so with that down, you can see that there's a groove right here, and it's the same thing. Butyl fits in here, and then when the top case goes down, there's a flat ledge right along here, and that's where those two parts meet, and that right there, so that causes your seal. But there's also this little jut out right here, and there's the top part of the case. It's not solid. There's just two edges that come along, and I could see just a little bit of air in between the two of them. And I thought, you know, my attempt is to make this thing as airtight as possible so that all this air coming up out of here has no choice to go but into where it's supposed to. There's going to be no bleed out in any different direction over top of anything. I just want a constant hard airflow where it should be. So in order to do that, you know, all these little foamy pieces that came in the kit that I think you're supposed to like double up and make this that I used the window seal for, I just kind of measured out the piece, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal this edge right here, right where it comes up to the butyl. I'm just going to put this in, and this stuff is like super squishy, so it's going to come down and just squish flat with that. It's going to take up any gap that this thing provides, and it's just going to ensure that I have this blower motor just pushing this air right where it's supposed to go, and then there's no bleed back this way. There's no chance of it going anywhere but where it's supposed to, the way the factory designed it to. So this is probably all overkill, but hey, what sport are you in? Everything that we do to these cars is overkill, right? So why is this any different? Exactly. Okay, so now this is in place. So now all we got left is heater core, evaporator core, cover, blower motor. We are almost there, boys and girls. I'm very happy. So I need to roll out some more butyl. I'm going to put this piece in, and then I've also got to, there's a butyl piece that came with the kit. It's a long roll, and it's supposed to do this entire perimeter all the way around. So I've got to get that piece and put that in place, and then get my evaporator and heater core, and let's get those in and sealed up, and then we'll be ready to go. This is getting exciting. We're getting close. There it is. Got my butyl laid down right in the groove. Matches right up with my little spongy seal that I got from the kit. Now, before, I'm going to put the heater core in next, I think, and then evaporator last. So before we do that, we're going to have to do a little bit of science. So both these pieces, this one's heavily, it's turning a little green. It's kind of corroded. But I think I can save it. I mean, it's intact. There's nothing, it's not frayed, everything like that. Same thing with the hold down. So we're going to see if we can't clean these. So I've just got a container to hold both of them. Table salt. Lemon juice. I'm not measuring anything. Just, that looks good. What do I know? And white vinegar. And that should be perfect. Stick, stir it up. And in go our pieces. Just make sure all the way submerged. Now we're just going to let that sit. Probably going to let it go about 10 minutes, then I'll come back and check it. Ding! 10 minutes. Let's see what we got here. Let's pull this out. Wasn't expecting a miracle with this. It does look like it's gotten off a little. This is what I'm wanting to see. Maybe if I agitate it a little bit with my hands here. It does look like it's a lot better. What I've done is basically created a mild acid by mixing these together. just rubbing this with my hands. Let's see what we got. Oh, that is much better. Okay, so we're going to move this off to the side. We're going to bring in our cup of water, and this is sodium bicarbonate or baking soda to you and me. Same thing. I'm going to stir this up. So now we've coated this, we've let it soak in acid, and it's eaten some of the tarnish off the top of it, made it look a lot better. The problem is, if I just wipe this down and don't do anything else, there's a chance that there's a layer left on this, and it'll just keep eating away at it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this bath of sodium bicarbonate and water to essentially neutralize the acid. And then that way we can, I'll take it and run it under the sink, make sure it's nice and clean, wipe it up, and then it'll go back on the car. It won't be an issue. Now this I will probably hit with a Scotch-Brite just to get this thing cleaned up a bit. Because man, that really did the trick. I like that. Alright, so I'm going to go wash both of these off. Then I think this is going to go back into bath for another 10 or 15 minutes and see if that does any more to it. And then we'll be back to assembling parts. Science? This is stupid. What are we doing? Got all my caulk in place. The caulk that came with the kit is like this kind of grayish color, and I was worried that it was going to be seen, and I'm just anal retentive. So I used the black stuff that I got and just rolled it out a little thinner and put it right in the groove where it's supposed to go. So all that is laid down and is ready to go. So we're going to start, put our heater core in. Alright, and it's down in that cradle. And then we'll take our 5/16 nut driver. We'll get this started. Okay, that is down. That's held in place. And then this will just work its way out through the seal like the factory did. And I'm going to bolt it down here at the bottom somewhere on the firewall. That way you can't see it. So that's what I plan on doing. Alright, so now that is in. Let's go grab the evaporator core and we'll get that in. And then it's time to pop the lid on. Alright, let's get our evaporator in. Taking a little ring of butyl and put it right here, so when this seal slides down onto it, it'll kind of seal it from the bottom. This extra level of protection I can get. Oh, this thing just fits down in here so nice. Okay, and then we'll move this down. I can feel that butyl bunching up on that. That's good. Moment of truth. The lid goes on. Everything else has been bolted in place. I've run out of screws. Everything is down where it should be. Now it's just a matter of putting the lid on. And I hope nothing goes wrong, because I'm going to hate if I have to take this thing back off with everything the way it is, because all this butyl is just going to gob up like strings. Okay, last piece of the puzzle. Get this bad boy down, right in place. Now this thing, even sprayed my bolts. Get all my screws put back in. Start right here in this corner. I think if I can get these front two started where they're supposed to be, everything else is just going to fall right in line. So that's what we're going to do. Left to do now. Let's get this motor in. There. Put the breather tube down. All right. Also, we've got the new relay. I got a new one. In for a penny, in for a pound. And this is what I was talking about. So the 3 speeds on the fan, low and the 2 mediums, they all go through these 3 different resistors, and that's what gets you your speed. And then your high is just straight battery voltage. So that goes right in there. That secures these 2 7mm. Well, that is it. Everything is in place. All new components, everything cleaned up, painted. It's pretty. So this will get bagged up at least for right now until I finish the firewall and put it back together. And the only thing left to do is to get this seal in, and I may wait until I bolt the thing back up where I've got a little bit of leverage to get this thing in, because it's bigger than the opening, so it's going to need to be trimmed to make it perfect and get in there and have a good snug fit. So I'm not doing that now. It's blazing hot out here and I'm done. Very happy. It turned out so nice. I mean, it is just so sweet, and everything is sealed up. I mean, I went through and made sure that there was not one single spot in this where air is going to leak by and take away from the air pushing into the car. So very happy. So that's it for now. Do me a favor, right down there, subscribe, please. I need some subscriptions. Hit the like button. Not a lot of likes, a lot of views, not a lot of likes. So trying to change up some of that. And check out my t-shirt shop. A couple of the videos, the link was broken. I got all that fixed, so every video now, it should link to my t-shirt shop. So if you find something you like, buy a shirt. It helps me quite a bit. So I appreciate it. Appreciate all the time and interest you guys show. And until next time, which I think I will probably move on to the steering column, because I need to get those bolts down there for the tilt column fixed. So that'll probably be the next project. And then the firewall maybe. Or maybe I'll do firewall next. I don't know. It's too hot. I gotta stop. It's like burning up in here. This summer heat is killing me. Anyway, that is it for now. Yeah, see you guys later.